Hey everyone, this is Harry from DTO Customs, and we're in a totally different setting today than most of our videos. Here we have a Jeep Wrangler Sahara that's halfway through being torn apart, and we're getting ready to install the aftermarket components. So what we're going to do today is we're going to kind of open up the curtain and let you see what goes on behind the scenes. Let's check out some of these components. So here upon the table, we have some components that we've taken off of the stock vehicle and some components that we're going to be adding to the vehicle. You know, when you sit here and look at it, it may not seem like a big difference until you start to pick up these parts here, that it is night and day difference in the weight and the construction and how rugged these components are. And one of the main things that we want to make sure when we install all of these components on it, that this vehicle is going to ride as close to the factory as possible. You're not going to sacrifice ride quality by adding these components. You're going to pick up the benefits of the upgraded shocks, the upgraded springs, your upgraded control arms. You're going to be able to dial in your suspension and make adjustments to it that will keep all the geometry, everything like a factory setting in line. And one of the great things about the Ready Lift components is the old lifts back in the days, you would see torches come out. They were cutting things and removing things that you can't put back on. A lot of these components that we use, they're just bolting to your factory suspension. So another thing that we have here is, this is one of your factory shocks versus one of the Falcon shocks. This one here, you can see is the factory Mopar shock. Kind of one size fits all. We've really done a lot of research on the Falcon shocks, and they put in so many hours of quality control before they even release these shocks to the public. 2 to 6 months, saltwater immersion, making sure that all of the components are going to shock rebound as they are. But the greatest benefit for you on the everyday is how much better it's going to ride. But then, if you decide that you want to take it off-road, that's what these were built for. Factory spring here and your aftermarket here. And though they may not look like there's much difference in it, I can tell you there is massive differences in between the two. So that when you lift this vehicle up in the air, you've got the proper tension with these springs here to handle the lift, to handle the wheels, to handle the tires, and not to mention your everyday ride as well. So here's something else that I'd like to show you is control arms. We've got a factory control arm here. And here's my aftermarket. Big difference. Where this one here, if I had to guess, is probably hollow inside versus solid. What is this going to do for you? These right here are going to hold the geometry, and again, make sure that the factory ride is maintained there while you're still driving a lifted vehicle. These control arms are adjustable so that we can keep all of your factory specs in line as well. So while we are installing all of the components, we're also replacing all new hardware, your bolts, your washers, everything is torqued to factory spec. After that, I've got a long commute. I typically commute about 100 miles a day. We put 300 to 500 miles on these vehicles just to make sure that they are all in line. Everything is set, dialed in, ready to go, giving you that great ride along with the great look with what we do. We wanted to show you this, and we hope that it's helped answer some questions. This is what we do. So if you've got questions and you want to reach out to us, if we didn't touch on something, we're happy to answer any of those questions for you. Reach out to the shop, 703-754-9800, or you can email us at dtocustoms.com, and you can always check us out on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And typically put 300 to 500 miles on it from the time that it's built till it actually ends up to our location. F***ing new guy!